Welcome people, welcome to the tomb of EL-lumination. The tomb of EL-lumination. Changed it again. EL is the same as IL. In Hebrew it's God, godly. Godly illumination. I was put off initially of the illumination because ill, it's opposite to illumination. Falsehood, but that's more of an English translation. But if you go back to the original EL-lumination, I could have still stuck with IL, illumination, because it's the same thing. So it's godly. So we're talking about the flat earth design here. Etymology of the Garden of Eden is a fine enclosure. And this is it here. So today's video is about the Milky Way and describing the whole flat earth system now, because I have the complete picture of the earth. I didn't quite have it. Something was bugging me and I finally figured it out. It was bugging me since I read the Iliad, because the Iliad describes the whole tropical gap, the whole system, the whole recycling, the vacuum, expansion of the molecule, everything. It's all in the Iliad that no one can see. I can interpret it all, so I know it's all truth, because all esoteric knowledge, so it's truth. So I know it's right, so I create the model to suit that information. And it's come together beautifully. It's the ultimate. So everyone needs to get on board with this flat earth design. So hopefully you can see this. It's the flat earth I've drawn there. You've got the tropical gap all the way around this area here. Most important part of our flat earth design that science never talked about. I was the first person to bring up the tropical gap and how it all works. How it's the dielectric gap in the Earth's magnetic field that creates a divergence and avoidance zone. When the two hemisphere magnetic fields come, they don't merge at the tropics. They avoid each other, which causes the magnetic field to swerve away more. So it swerves away more rapidly each side. So on a compass bearing, you're travelling more east or south, depending on which hemisphere you're in. Oh no, they're both travelling more east, which stretches out further. So you're moving more east than you are north or south. And this is where they come up with the spinning ball BS of the equator being wider on a ball, on their ball model. But it's not, it's just the magnetic field. If you follow the compass bearing, it veers off more to the west, okay? So I've explained this plenty of times anyway, but anyway, let's get back to it. So this is it, got the magnetic fields curving into the tropical zone of Cancer there, and you've got the north curving into the tropical of Cancer. There's an avoidance zone around here. The fields shoot back down through the earth and come back up the opposite poles. Okay, there's one pole, one north pole, plenty of south poles. Every man on earth has his own image of it in his arc of horizon of a south pole. So you could say it's south all the way around here. They're just everywhere. It's a returning cycle. Comes over, down through the earth, out to here, back up and over, through the earth, and pops out again in the centre north, which is here. So in the centre north, we have to go back to my original, very early on pictures of the creation of Earth, and go back to what many guys have had before, is where the two forces come together, the negative and the positive, the two forces in nature, the duality, and bingo, there's a gap between the two fields here, bang. This is why science says it's the Big Bang, because bang, Earth was instantly created. Might have taken a few days to grow something, but human, everything, animals were all there, 2 by 2, as in duality. The whole system's a duality. A whole realm is a dual system, male and female, a duality. So bang, Earth is created. So that's the centre Arctic. Okay? So my video's wandered away from this thinking, well, we've got that there, Earth is there, so we then break it down again and have it all up here as a dual system up here. But it's not quite right. It's like this. As my earlier videos show, is this vortex in here above the Arctic centre with all the stars in it. It's a magnetic field, right, you could say, a tight magnetic field. But at the same time you have to think of electrical and what we know in capacitance and currents and electrical engineering. The circuit, it's got a cross circuit. It cross-circuited and bang, creates the voltage. Okay? At the top. And this is basically the horizon of the black hole. All the action is around the horizon of the black hole, and that's where the voltage, the sun, sits. Right there, big bulgy sun, which gives it the egg shape. Whoop. The head of the body. The, what's the word? Elliptic, look. So that's the actual sun back there, right? And this is the Milky Way. And this is how we see it in our night sky. You see that this curving field like this, but we see, I mean, during the day our sun is at the other end of it. It's sticking out here in the tropical gap. It's out here above the tropics. That's during the day. You can't see all this, can you? During the day. But at night we see the back. At night we don't see the sun, right? But we see the back of the original sun, the actual sun, sitting in the Milky Way. So I've been saying there's a black hole in the Milky Way, and Roger Penrose, this physicist, won a Nobel Prize declaring that after 60 years of studying the stuff. But I don't think we can say that now, because it's not really in the black hole. The sun is created on the horizon of the black hole. So if you can see this, it comes down here, shoots up, bang, you got the spark here. But this is the non-physical. We don't see any of that. Okay? Except at night you'll see this Milky Way and all these stars in here light up at night and reflect up on the ceiling, flat northern hemisphere sky, and then you get the parabolic image on the curving southern sky. So you have to understand the two systems, the seen and the non-seen. So the seen is our photons, the sun at the end of the Milky Way. Okay, and all that's non-physical. So you go back to Romans 1:20. What's it got here? For the invisible thing of him from the creation of the world are clearly seen, being understood. So they're visible, but clearly seen out in our realm. Clearly seen, being understood by the things that are made, even this eternal power and Godhead, so that they are without excuse. So that we have to understand by these images, they're all for signs, the stars and the planets, everything out in our realm, all come back from in here, because around this horizon is the ecliptic plane and all that, reflected out into our realm. So this is the Milky Way. This is the knee joint that was mentioned in the Iliad. Okay, so now it has to go like this. And this is how we see it appear out here in the south. You see it curved, and then it comes around. When it swings right across the top of you, it's straight, because it's going straight into the centre hole above your head. But otherwise, if it's coming over your arc of horizon, your dome, because of this dome shape, you get this curve till it straightens, then curves away again as it moves west. So this point down here on Earth is this point here. There's Earth. There's the two systems, the positive and the negative. Below Earth is the negative. So, and this is the Milky Way that comes in here like this. And this is how we have to see it. This is the Milky Way. This is the helix. So, you see the two, why there's two snakes is because we have the tropical gap. So this is man's arc of horizon, but that tropical gap, if you take the Earth on a whole, or say from the north to the south, you're going to have the centre tropical gap, right? There's the two sides, the two walls described in the Iliad. And I've just read a physics article. I've been talking about all my stuff here, just on the slide. I'll read it to you if the camera doesn't run out. This is what we have too, a system like this, the double snake system going up the totem pole. Or you can call that one big totem pole with two sides, right? You've seen this in the natives, the Red Indians, a lot of other cultures, South America. You see these patterns and all that. That's it there. That comes across over into the Milky Way. That is the Milky Way. It's the helix. Okay? So we can't say there's a black hole in this Milky Way really, because it comes from the black hole. But our image of the sun has come from here, which is on the horizon of the black hole. So do we say there's a black hole in the Milky Way? Maybe we can, maybe not, I'm not sure. So, and then you've got to look at our sun, and because we now are images of creation, you have to realise this is what's happening with our sun. This is another image that probably you might see on Google one day, because they pinch all these metaphysical concepts, like they've taken the, they've taken the, not quite like that, but they've taken that symbol in their metaphysical, you've seen that. What's that other one? Can't remember. They've even got this on the World Soccer Federation, sun down the lemma on the World Soccer Federation logo, or whatever it is, World Soccer Tournament. So this is what is our sun. The magnetic fields that come into these tropic regions up above are spiralling around the sun. So this is another thing. See, Santos Benassi mentioned the sun was a hole a few years back, and I couldn't figure that out. It's finally dawned on me, because now I know that all the 7 wandering stars are focal points, which is 0 point energy. The photon creates the picture, the photon. So it's basically the whole, because all the action is around the horizon of that object, that image. That's the resting state. This is the holy place, the resting state. This is what creation is all about. It's the resting state. Creates perfection. This is how Earth came about. Perfection. So it basically is a whole. The sun is lit up with the light around it like this, which creates the image. So all the actions around, we don't see the resonant frequency. That's what it's based on, all frequencies, right? And that's the image we're seeing in the middle. Same with all the planets. It's the lowest vibrational state. So once again, you've got all the action around the black hole creating the real sun back here, and in our realm you've got the magnetic field rushing in, shooting around, creating the image we see. The two systems. Get that? So there's the Milky Way. Let's start reading some of the stuff I've written. And at the same time, you've got we have the central vortex that's going like this, spiraling up and down, spirals up, spirals down over one day, 24-hour day. So there's only a couple of turns. It just goes, spirals up, and then can back down, up and down, once per day. And at the same time the Milky Way is moving, but the Milky Way is rolling 1 degree per day. Not even that. To make up for the whole yearly cycle of the precession of the equinoxes and all that. This Milky Way is rolling 1 degree a month, is it? No, 1 degree a month, is it? No, that's 12 degrees. What was it? 1 degree a day, was it? Can't remember. The Milky Way is rolling as it carries the sun inside of it around the horizon of the black hole. 1 degree per day. Okay? 1 degree per day. Hardly see it. But by the end, the sun sits stationary in there. The sun's just a big blob of plasma, say. But the Milky Way is moving around. One end of the Milky Way is on the horizon of the black hole. So it's forever going around the black hole like this. It does a full rotation, the sun. You can imagine the sun sticking out here. The sun's sticking out where we see it, out here. So it's going around the black hole like this over 24 hours. One full rotation around the Earth. We see the sun out here. The actual sun's being created back in here. At the same time as this is turning, this is slightly rolling. That 1 degree. See, the sun's not moving. Look, that moves. 1 degree per day. And at the end of the day, it rolls just that little bit more, and that's the precession of the equinoxes. Slight variation. So this now brings us back to the constellations. All the constellations are on here, around this, not in the main vortex, not in this main vortex above the Earth. Milky Way comes in here. It's out here, because we only see so much per night, per 24 hours, right? We only see a partial image of the sky, of the Earth, as this thing moves around. Or, you know, night swings around. But it's all on here. And I've done an earlier video where I used the obelisk, because I knew it was like that, but I couldn't quite figure it out. And I've done videos using the obelisk. The obelisk was the thing that had the four sides, had all the constellations on it. So I was nearly there. It turns out they're in here. They're on here. This is turning. The sun it's slightly turning on the sun to show all the constellations over the year. That's the constellations. You got the moon and the zodiacs. I haven't got that on the top of my head now. I better go back and think about that, because the moon is moving through them every month. So maybe it's going up and down this way. I don't know. I haven't got that on top of my head. Sorry. We'll talk about that later. So, but this is the way it is. Got the central vortex turning one full rotation up and down for a day, 24 hours. Then you got this rolling 1 degree per day. What else we got here? And that's why we get SETI 1. SETI 1 was a message, an overlay. In SETI 1 we have the hieroglyphs, and see, I think there's a submarine and a Black Hawk helicopter, but it's a hand and something else overlaid with another image to give us those false images. See, as soon as I saw that, I knew what it all meant. It was an overlay in our system. In actual fact, there's 3 systems going on though. We have the dual helix Milky Way turning, the dual helix per day, and the single vortex of the background stars spiraling up and down once per day. Then we have the ecliptic plane. So there's a trinity in here. Ecliptic plane on the horizon of the black hole. You got the Milky Way and the stars, and they're all doing their own thing, cycles, okay? The sun laps the stars over a year. The sun laps the moon over a month. You've got the rolling of the Milky Way, 1 degrees per day, full rotation plus. Then I've got to work on the, I've done this in the past I think, the what do you call it, the great year, the 2160, where that comes into it. So maybe, you know, because we've got this turning, maybe it's spiralling down. They spiral down into the hole and back up again. They're spiraling up maybe, or spiraling up. They slowly spiral up to come back down for the 25,000 year full cycle, up and down maybe. So this is what they call the galactic bulge. That's Sagittarius A, the back of the sun we see at night, Milky Way. Actual sun at the knee joint, and in the earlier it's mentioned as the knee joint, so it comes over and kinks, that's the knee joint. Our photon sun at the end of the Milky Way. So the Milky Way comes curved, then straightens as it goes overhead, then starts curving away again as it moves over your dome, arc of horizon. That's it, guys. Remember that man's arc of horizon, everything is observed by man's arc of horizon. This is why they tell you live on a spinning ball, because they're only working on this. Every man has his own view, his own image. This is how the sun passes over. This is where Newton's string theory came into it as fact. You put on a bit of string, look, it's attached to the string. That is how, you imagine the moon like that as well. You see it, an image like that, but if it rolls over, it's moving, isn't it? The image starts rolling. It's the same. This is why the sun never changes size. It might appear to a bit with it depending on the atmospheric conditions, but it does not. Everything comes over here. Nothing should change its size. Okay? But as the moon's going in and out, you may get some variation because it comes in and out this way as well. It's going over or around the earth. The other things don't. The other sister bodies don't, but they do this spiral effect. So your night sky stars are doing this winding up and winding back down over 24 hours. These are the curving magnetic fields of Earth all the way around here. Seen this in the Maoris and the native artwork. See this sort of thing. See the sea urchins like this. See, on this magnetic field will be the sun anywhere along there on the northern hemisphere, but at the same time it's coming this way from the southern hemisphere. Okay? But this is metaphorically because this is the unseen. We just assume it's in here, moving in and out of here over the year, coming around like this during the day. It's just basically going over our horizon. But its elevation is dropping lower and lower on our horizon, isn't it? Up or down with the seasonal changes. But that's how it's actually working in reality. Like this. I was going to get into something else in a minute. I can't think what it was now. So yeah, so realise all the planets we see are their resting states. All the actions around them coming out in a wave. That's why electrons are waves. It's a wave. Everything is a wave. Look, that looks like a wave. Everything's a wave in wave form, but its resting state is right in the centre of the wave. That's what it was. I was going to read something. I think the film's going to run out, but we'll give it a go. This is the post I put on Facebook. YouTube. Oh no, which I put it over to Facebook, so I'll go with that one. It's about the physicist. What's her face? Here it is. Everyone's seen this woman? Sabin. Well, she was on about the weather, the wind and all that. Go check that video out, Gulf Stream. And I'll tell you what I did. I put a remark up. Earth is round, because she's trying to tell us Earth is not flat. She's showing us a ball. You got that right. But why are you holding a ball / sphere with a big laughing face? Nobody here seems bright enough to realise you just mentioned the dielectric tropical gap in the Earth's magnetic field that creates the avoidance zone whereby sea currents and wind currents do not link between the two hemispheres. They don't. Earth's magnetic field is in the wind. The Egyptians tell us this. The ancient Egyptians tell us this. And it just works. How would a magnetic field flow if all were equal? The Earth's wind flows because it isn't equal. So why the ignorance of a magnetic field? Your simple science stops short, only stating the north and south poles energy fields in total are equal. That is correct, but you people are not bright enough to realise its magnetic cycle has a 2 to 3 ratio that must exist for the field to flow. I think physicists by now should understand that nature is out to find its resting state as an equilibrium. It is the constant movement that creates life. If the Earth was a sphere with equal hemispheres, there would be no imbalance for movement. We would all cease to exist. You people don't even understand this basic concept, so there is no point explaining the rest. I will say this though, just to help the simple-minded, the Earth's magnetic field's avoidance zone at the tropics causes the field to curve more sharply, veering more west than north or south. Hence, where a magnetic bearing has silly science claiming a wider equator on their comedy ball. Your spinning ball Earth is a joke and an insult to any reasonably intelligent human being. But there's obviously not many in this world, is there? So check out her video and then look for my comment. They don't even understand. They don't know the flat earth system, yet they'll get up there and say the stupidest of things. When you know the system, it's the most stupidest statements they make. Not understanding this tropical gap is the blown up version of what's happening back in creation. This point here. The wind, they know the wind comes like this, does this. Look, they know the wind does that. Well, it's the magnetic field's in that wind, it shoots down through the earth, comes along back up like this, down like this. It's a no-brainer. So that's it guys, we'll end it there, eh? Thanks for watching. Thumbs up, subscribe, like something. Catch you on the next video.